Welcome back to more Tales from the Blind Guy, the podcast. I'm your host, Greg the Blind Guy, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about recovery with my friends Charlie and Sam. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks, Greg. Thanks for having us.
Yeah. So, how long have you guys been clean?
I have been clean just about 18, coming up on 18 months now.
Oh, right on. Congratulations.
Thanks, Greg.
I'm the same. I'm 18 months at the end of November.
Oh, awesome, Charlie. Congratulations to both of you. So, how long were you out in your active addiction?
Charlie?
About 15 years. I
Yeah.
started at a really young age, around 14.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, me too. I think it's hard to gauge exactly when it started, but I'd say like actual use, I was probably 15 years on the dot, about the age of 15 to 30.
So, what was, I guess we'll start with Charlie. So, what was could have been your rock bottom or the decision to make you come into recovery and give it a try?
So originally I actually tried recovery a lot longer ago than 18 months. I went to a meeting in Kamloops, BC over 5 years ago with a girl that I was on the street with out there. And she said she needed to go. She didn't want to go by herself. So she asked if I would go with her. And I did. And about halfway through the meeting, like after the readings were done, we actually left because I was certain that it was a cult and I wanted nothing to do with it. And I didn't go back again until I had hit this bad cycle here in Lethbridge of using and hating myself and saying it would be different every time and realizing that every 3 days it wasn't different, or going out on benders that lasted 2 weeks. And I absolutely hated myself. I remember sitting in my car having like a mental breakdown. And I would say like that was my rock bottom, because like previous to that, I had already OD'd twice. I'd been brought back at the hospital twice. And that didn't make me stop, but going through that cycle over and over made me want to try. So I actually looked up the Narcotics Anonymous phone number and I called them. I actually happened to be near 13th Street too, which was just, I guess, my higher power as well.
Yeah.
And the number led me to somebody in Calgary, because the Chinook District phone line is for Calgary. So I told them I needed to find a meeting in Lethbridge, and then I wanted to stop using. And he said, well, the good news is that you don't have to use again. And the other good news is you're really close to a live meeting right now. I told him where I was. And then, I walked through the doors of Narcotics Anonymous in Lethbridge.
Oh, right on. And you met me and it was all downhill from
Exactly.
there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What about you, Sam?
I mean, I still think it feels a little culty at times, but I think I guess kind of like Charlie too. Like I tried for a little while before it kind of stuck in terms of staying sober. Like, my first introduction was waking up one morning and my whole family was in my living room, and that day I was on a plane out to my first treatment center, out in Nanaimo, BC,
Okay.
and from there I stayed sober. I think close to 6 months, 5.5 months or so, and but then I couldn't get it, and I was in and out. I ended up homeless in that time, and when they say things get worse, they certainly do. It's absolutely a progressive disease, and I mean, I don't think that has to be what everyone experienced, but apparently it was what I had to experience to get to a place of surrender. And I ultimately, fought my way into detox, and then I got into treatment again down in Lethbridge here, and spent 9.5 months in a treatment center. So
Oh, okay.
I was able to get a good basis. I needed that. I needed that time. Like I don't think I would have been safe otherwise. Like I really needed to get out of my own will's way, and I needed help to do that. I couldn't do it on my own. So I think removing myself from the place I used, it was Calgary, and that was definitely an important part of it for me. But really just surrendering, I guess, was kind of the way I like to look at it, because I needed to be willing to do whatever it took, and I was. And, that's really taught me what I needed to get out of the driver's seat and let God take over, and His will be done, not mine.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I know, Charlie, you mentioned it kind of felt like a cult at some point, and I kind of make fun of that being in Narcotics Anonymous, because I am definitely a person that has drank the recovery Kool-Aid completely, right? I've been all in ever since I entered the rooms, but I started going to AA first because my main DOC was alcohol. Tried to get involved. I had acceptance, but I don't think I really had the surrender part at that point, and then went back out and got even worse until I hit my rock bottom. And then I went out treatment, like yourself, out to BC, and it was a very heavy Narcotics Anonymous community. And yeah, I fell in love with the program there, and just been a part of it ever since. So very grateful for that.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Super cool.
So you two are, how long you been dating?
Just about a year.
Yeah.
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 So how do you manage your own recovery versus recovery together?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I know something that we've talked about recently is not taking each other's inventories,
Mm-hmm.
which can happen sometimes in a relationship when you start listing the things that they're maybe not amazing at instead of, and I like to keep a positive mindset on it and look at the things that Sam does really well and look at the things that I do really well and see how those can fit together versus causing a rift.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's really I think too, just being able to be an encouragement to one another is probably the most important thing for me. I think, I get that, there's a resource, there's an outlet here within recovery to be able to live, to be able to live clean.
Mm-hmm.
And we're both in that environment. So we get to encourage each other and just bounce ideas off each other. And, I think one of the greatest things Charlie does for me is I just get to feel inspired day to day. We read together and so there's things that lap over, but I mean, yeah, like I have my sponsor and Charlie has hers. And, when things are, getting a little bit emotional or heated, we separate and we go to our outlets. We attend meetings together, but I think, sometimes it is just a place to get it out too, where it may not be, I might not be saying it directly to her, but I'm saying it out into the room, but she knows where that part of that came from.
Yeah.
Like it's a super, I love it. It's a really healthy way to live and it's working for us right now.
Yeah. Another thing, I think it says in the literature that you only need 2 addicts to have a meeting. So I found myself at some of the meetings here, which can be very populated, not wanting to interact with that many humans. So either I'll go to an online meeting or Sam and I will go have like a mini meeting between ourselves, where we just read together, read something, and then talk about what we read.
Yeah.
Totally.
I know my wife is a normie, and sometimes the meetings are nice because obviously our own defects of character can clash at times. So it's nice for me to go to a meeting, not only to sometimes bitch, but also to reflect on my problems and the issues, right? Like what I've done wrong and connect. So yeah, I could see you guys going to a meeting together and trying to bitch about each other.
And that's a really good point. So Sam has gone to a men's meeting a couple of times, and he regularly drops me off at a women's meeting just so that we can have our separate space, so that we could bitch about each other,
That's good.
because sometimes you need to.
Yeah. Can't be just throwing your defects of character at each other in every meeting. So
Exactly.
no. Oh, that's good. So, what are some gifts of recovery that you've discovered in these last 18 months?
That's a great question.
How has your life changed?
So much. So we're happily engaged.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you very much. We got engaged at Peggy's Cove, the lighthouse on the East Coast.
In Nova Scotia,
yeah. We got a puppy soon after. So I've been puppy training, and now it's going well.
It's going really well.
Yeah, and we named her Prim after one of the lighthouses out there.
Yeah, she never bites us.
Well,
she's just a perfect little puppy. Doesn't do anything wrong.
Yeah. Does puppy things.
Yeah.
Some good puppying.
Good pup.
Sam has a career that I admire greatly. I'm finally working again. I'm an educational assistant for the Palliser School Division.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. These are just some of the ones off the top of our heads.
Yeah, like there's been some like really exciting things that have happened, like in terms of our, personal lives and development, career, and kind of life events that I certainly didn't see happening. I mean, I was on the street, and 18 months later, I'm engaged to a beautiful woman. Like that's pretty wild. I mean, I
Yeah.
think that if anything for me, as I look at it, I'm like, wow, this must be working, right? Like there's something to it. And but I think, in terms of gifts of sobriety, like I think, that daily reprieve, the ability to, like, even in my most stressed out moments, even in my most frustrated times, like I don't throw my life away and do drugs. I don't, like we laugh all the time about like people that can go out for a drink. It's like, yeah, we'd love to go out for a drink, but one drink for us, we're homeless the next week.
Yeah.
We burn our lives to the ground.
Yeah.
And so for me, the biggest gift has been not burning my life to the ground. I think that is really cool. Like building the life that we don't want to lose, for me is the biggest gift. And a lot of those things that Charlie mentioned are part of that. But, peace, a lot of the virtue, a lot of the principles of the program are, it's beautiful. Like we get to live in a way that, we get to see the best in each other and others, and
do service.
And
Yeah.
be of service. Like we were helping some friends move a couple weekends ago, and it was a cool learning experience for us, because we got to, like, for a second look at each other and be like, wow, we're like happy helping other people right now. Like, what's going on? This is weird.
I think that's the biggest thing is like happiness. Like I wasn't happy before I came to NA or before I found recovery. And now on a regular basis, like I'm actually happy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Irritatingly happy.
Yeah. Almost annoyingly so. Like to the point where people are like, what the fuck? What's wrong with you?
Oh, I know. Like some people kind of question, like, how can I be so positive with everything that I've been through, right? And that's what I just generally choose to look at it. And if I start getting too negative, I'll do a set of steps over it. I know probably I told myself for the first 2 years, every single day, that, if I could find, a reasonable meaning to go out and use, I'd walk out this door and go use right now. But all it ever is excuses. My cancer, my blindness, it's just an excuse to go out and use. It's not a real reason. And that's, that really held me together for those first couple of years. But yeah, I agree. I'm, very happy, much happier than I was definitely in my active addiction.
I love what you said there about the choice. I love that. It's like recognizing that we have a choice.
Yeah.
That actually is an option. And I know it sounds very straightforward, or almost too simplistic in a way, but it really is a choice, and one that we get to make every day, a decision.
But that's funny thing is that choice was so hard when we were deep in our active addiction. It was almost impossible to make a rational choice. But now it's the easiest thing.
Wild.
Yeah. Well, most days I would say. Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah. Most days.
Yeah.
Most days we're grateful and happy to be here.
Yeah. Next day, you just want to take a knife at your spouse or significant other.
That's right.
Yeah.
Maybe leave some dog poop where they don't expect it.
So, talking about service work, do you guys sponsor other people?
You do.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I have one sponsee, and Charlie has
I think
4.
4.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Most of them I don't have regular contact with, just because some of them are still out in active addiction. But I'll be here happily waiting to greet them when they're ready to come into recovery.
Yep.
A few of them are in treatment, so they just don't have their cell phones because they need to focus on their recovery. I'm actually planning on taking one to a women's meeting on Friday, but it's a household meeting.
Okay.
So I wouldn't call it one of the fellowships. It's more like Al-Anon, but you can be a member of any fellowship to be at this meeting. And it's held in a woman's living room, where everyone kind of brings snacks and stuff. And I want to take the sponsee there just to show her that there is community. Because I know when I first started, although men were the ones who hurt me the most, I trusted them more. And it was really hard for me to find like female companionship and people that I could trust, like women I could trust and turn to.
Yeah.
And I didn't find that until almost 18 months into my recovery. And now I know that there are good women out there. There are people who care. And I want my sponsee to see that and not be so focused on the male presence in rooms.
Yeah, I know that's hard sometimes, like being in the rooms. Sometimes it could be close to 50-50. And the next time you have one woman to 40 men. And that can be difficult, right? Especially when you're trying to find somebody to sponsor for the women coming into the room. But I found, especially in the past few years, that a recovery community is growing.
Yes.
It's slow. People come in and out of the community, but more and more people are staying, and it's getting. I can't say completely for women, but slowly getting at least more men. They'll stick around to sponsor other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's hard because it's not like, I mean, aside from the few addicts and alcoholics who have died, and most of them, the ones that we associate with, died clean and sober, but it's hard because all those old timers are leaving or they're dying. Or
Yeah.
like what people come here from a treatment center and then they go back home afterwards, or they go back to
Yeah.
wherever it is they came. Not a lot of them actually stay here and turn into old timers in
Yeah.
the program,
Yeah.
which leaves only a few. I know in our specific fellowship, there's only you and a few other members who are considered old timers
Yeah. And
of either gender.
yeah, and I'm only 6 years clean, right?
Exactly. So it's like, where is everyone?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, because either they just don't stick around, or it's we had somebody just took 12 years, which is nice. They stick around, but Dan being our oldest old timer, if once a few of them leave, and he's contemplating going to a job up in Calgary, like I might be one of the few old timers in the group.
Well, and it's tough too. Like I've met a few old timers that told me they started in our fellowship and they're just not there anymore. I met one in a different fellowship called Codependence Anonymous, and she has over 30 something years clean. And I'm like, well, can you come back and help us in NA? Especially like a woman who's got long term recovery. Like that would be great. But unfortunately, I know some of our other old timers are hard to be around sometimes.
Yeah.
Specifically one, but
Yeah. Well, and that what comes down to is that you can get clean, but it could take a lifetime to work on your defects of character, right? Because we all have them. They're not magically erased or taken out from us. We, need to work on them a bit, more and more. We can still struggle with that, even with me having decades of clean time.
Yeah, and that's something I consider too, is like I didn't become a better person when I got into recovery. Like all those bad things that I had done in active addiction didn't just go away. Like I had to reshape my behaviors, thoughts, actions, like everything I did had to change. And that took a long time, and I can kind of see that in those old timers that are stuck in their ways too. Like they did one set of steps however many years ago and then called it good, some of them. And I think this is a program that requires learning and remaining teachable throughout your life. Like you said, you do a set of steps. If something's wrong, you don't just sit on it.
Yeah.
And rest on your, what's that called?
Laurels.
Yeah. Rest on your laurels of your already done set.
Yeah. No, yeah, exactly. It's it's definitely a process. Like I said, I think you want to become your best self. You stick to the program, you stay in it, and you keep working it is important. But so how has your connections been with your families since you've I guess made amends or worked on amends in the last 18 months? How has trust started going rebuilding that?
Well, I'll start. Yeah, like I think, kind of like you're saying with defects of character, like trust can take time. And I like when I first, felt like I experienced some freedom in my life, I wanted to call everyone I've ever done anything wrong to and say I'm sorry. And obviously my sponsor, kind of directed me away from that and started to kind of understand through that, like what a little bit of a living amends was. And that, being able to live better today than I did yesterday is enough for today. I'm not saying that that's enough to cover everything I did wrong, but for today it is. And that kind of helped me get a little bit of momentum to where, like my family, like they're the ones that really, experienced the worst of me. They saw me at my worst, and, I stole from them and, manipulated and used and lied and, kind of tormented their lives for, 15 years.
Yeah.
at the very least. I mean, I think, addiction can be traced back to before using. I think I was, an addict alcoholic when I was even a kid. Right. So
was it kind of like, how could you tell Sam was lying because he opened his mouth?
Yeah, exactly. Like just total little shit. Like, just not up to ever up to any good.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I think two people I think of, my mom and dad. I've been lucky to where they've both kind of said, we just want you to um, live better. Like we don't want you to be leading this life anymore and find some freedom. And that was really cool. But I think that there's kind of this unspoken opportunity to where I'm seeing for men's with them specifically is being able to show up for them, and
Yeah.
with holidays or even just one call a week. Like I text my mom once a week, and my dad too. Actually, through all this, he's gone to treatment and he's been getting sober. He actually just got out of treatment, I guess 2 weeks ago now, and
Oh, where at?
Fresh Start in Calgary.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and super proud of him. And so now we've kind of got a whole new language that we can talk, the
Mhm.
recovery language. And so, in a lot of ways, that's somehow an amends. We were talking about it a couple of weeks ago, and how it's like, yeah, we now have this ability to relate to each other on a new level, and kind of an unspoken respect, but there's something healing about it. And so I went to my dad and I said, hey, like, I really recognize how awful I was,
Mhm.
and I want to make that right.
Yeah.
And I said, Dad, like, I don't know what that looks like, but I would love for you to work with me and figure out a way to get right with each other, to find forgiveness, and to be able to move forward in a way that so like there was financial amends. I had to pay him back some money. I actually
Mhm.
still owe him a little bit of money. I shouldn't say this being recorded, but I do. So yeah, like there's things like that have kind of just happened a little bit more organically. I didn't feel like I thought they'd be a little bit more like, you go to someone, you say, I'm sorry, that's it, it's done with. You go to someone,
Yeah.
you pay them back. And I think there are times when it's like that, but I guess my experience, speaking for myself, it has been, now amends is showing up. Now amends is connecting with
Yeah.
them again. Those are kind of the ways that, for me right now, I'm trying to make amends.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. How about you, Charlie?
So my relationships with my family, they definitely got better. It's tough right now because we currently live with my mom.
Mm-hmm.
So it can be really hard when you have two people who are quick to anger living together, especially when I don't have the crutch of drugs or alcohol to kind of fall back on, or that's what kind of kept me at I almost want to say a good level. It wasn't a good level, but it was numb enough that I didn't react negatively.
Yeah.
And now that we don't have that, I find myself needing to take a lot of breaks. I go for a lot of drives with my basic text next to me, and I go park and I sit and read.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking about with my brothers too. My oldest brother, I never made a direct amends to, but he has said that I look better, I seem happier, and I look healthier.
Mm-hmm.
And those were the best compliments I could have got from him. I haven't sat down and done a direct amends or anything. And then with my middle older brother, I actually just made the decision to cut off the relationship
Oh, yeah.
due to childhood trauma and other things. That there's something somebody told me, and it was like I thought I had to go and say sorry to everyone or make amends, but you
Mhm.
don't have to do that with people you don't want to continue a relationship with.
Yeah.
Especially because I'd always thought that as the addict, I thought everything was always my fault, no matter what. Even if I had no part in it, I just automatically took guilt and blame.
Yeah.
And in my recovery, I'm learning that I do not have to do that.
Right.
What other people did is it's kind of on them. We just have to worry about our side of the street being clean. I don't need to go clean up a street that I didn't mess up. I don't need to apologize to my brother for the way he treated me. I don't need to do any of that. He knows I'm doing well. And if he ever wants to reach out, I would definitely be open to it, but I'm not going looking for
Yeah.
things like that. The only other relationship that I made an amends for was to an old employer because I had stolen time and money just by not showing up as my best self. While she paid me, I drove her vehicles under the influence. I did a number of things working specifically for her. So I reached out and I was like, if there's any way I can make this up, I would love to. I offered her my volunteer services just to do some work for her unpaid to make up for the loss of work that I did while on the clock. And she thanked me for reaching out. She said what I had to say was very courageous and to come and she loved my honesty about it.
Mm-hmm.
So we haven't actually set up a time to work. She did have one job. It just didn't work out for either of us. And I said, hey, just keep me posted in the future. We'll find something that benefits both of us and that I'm able to make that proper amends, whether
Yeah.
it's volunteering at a rodeo or doing whatever for her. And that one felt really good. And I definitely have needed my sponsor's help on all of it. Just because family relationships have always been tough for me. And
Yeah.
that's part of the reason I isolated so
I,
badly.
I know I struggled at one point. Is that because I just felt after so much time being clean that I felt that my family, I was the only one that had to apologize to everybody for everything, and that I was never going to get apologies back. But I was the one that screwed everything up. Right? I was the only one, and it took a lot to work through, right? So that's the thing. Just like you said, Charlie, I just try to keep my side of the street clean, make my living amends where I can, and cut out my little, piece of life, and be happy where I'm at, and I am. Yeah.
I love that, being happy where you're at,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of
Yeah.
those things. Like, those don't have to happen in order for you to have a thriving recovery.
Yeah.
Not always, anyways. Just
No.
to the best of our ability.
And I really worked at the relationships that I want to repair.
Mhm.
I know about a year and a half ago was the first time I went to Peggy's Cove. I was out visiting my daughter, and yeah, it didn't go so well when I brought her to a meeting, but we worked on it, and we've continued to work on it. And I think like, I try not to make any poor assumptions because sometimes I tend to. But I think we have a much better relationship, and it's a place where we're continuing to grow as long as I stay clean. Yeah.
I think that's important too, not putting a time limit on other people's healings. I know I've heard you say that previously in the past, Greg. You shared that we can't choose when they forgive us either.
No, because I went to a place where I went and got therapy 24/7 for 90 days. It was about 100 days that I was in. But I was surrounded by recovery.
Yeah.
I was living in recovery. I was with other people. I was learning to live a new way of life. Where my family, they were still at home living in the shit, the wake of my destruction. And what at best they get, maybe an hour of counseling a week. Like that kind of healing takes much longer than it did for us. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, the process gets sped up in treatment for sure. And obviously it's not just treatment. Like, you can go to a lot of meetings. I know Charlie, not to speak for you, but Charlie did like 3 meetings a day. She made it happen the old school way without treatment, and detoxed in a bathtub, and like super, super admirable way to do it.
Wow.
But just to say that, like, if you really want it, you can have it. And like, it really does come down to that choice and that decision. And part of that choice and that decision, like, there's so much that goes into it, like the just letting go, letting God, like I have what I need for today, and God will put in my path, the people that I need to have put in my path. I mean, I know, so for my instance, my dad's, his graduation from treatment, my aunt and uncle were there, and those were 2 people that were on my list for amends.
Yeah.
And I didn't really realize until I was there, and I was like, oh no, like I got to do this. So I called my sponsor, and Charlie said, well, you got to call your sponsor. So I called my sponsor real quick, and don't do anything without permission of the sponsor. Right. And I got the quick rundown, and I was able to confront it and stand there. And I was super nervous and, didn't want to do this. These were people that, again, I had made their life miserable, getting the cops called on them, and well, not on them, but the cops coming to the house looking for me and stuff like that. So it was cool, and just, stood up and got out in front of it. And, obviously in addiction, I didn't do anything like that. I hid from absolutely every form of responsibility and accountability. And so being able to do that gives a little bit of confidence, and especially when it's received well, as you say with your daughter, like those moments where it's like, okay, this, there's something here, it's growing, it's working.
Yeah.
It's super encouraging. I just, those things are really great. But, at the same time, like there's the reality that, like, I'm probably never going to, like, be in their space again, like there's some very real boundaries there where, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I don't need to have this hope of, relationship kind of going one way or another, but the point of being that I just was able to do what I needed to do in the moment,
Yeah. So, did I ever tell you guys the story of my amends to my grandma?
Not sure you did.
Okay, well, so this was my very first amends. Now, I never hurt my grandma directly, but I hurt her indirectly because, through my parents and my other family members. And she was kind of like the matriarch of the family, and everybody loved her. So I was at Treatment Out BC, and I wrote her a letter. I did with a lot of my amends. And so I read it to her over the phone. And so when I got home, I went to her house and I gave her the letter. Fast forward a couple of years later, her dementia was quite strong, and she was coming towards the end of her life. And my aunt phoned me up one day, and because my grandma thought that the house that she lived in for decades wasn't her house anymore, she was trying to go back and live with her mom and dad.
Mm-hmm.
So she would try to pack a bag, and the only thing she would pack, like she had a house full of memories and items. But the only thing she would pack other than clothes was the amends letter that I gave her.
No way.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, my aunt. So I asked her if she would hold on to it, after Grandma passed.
Oh.
And so so after Grandma passed, and it was so funny because my grandma had such beautiful handwriting. She loved writing letters, in notes and cards. But yeah, I wasn't blessed with that. I had chicken scratch for writing, right?
Yeah.
But she still loved it enough, so I got it back after she passed, and it's sitting in my basic text,
Oh,
and it'll
Wow.
stay there.
that's
Yeah,
really sweet.
That's beautiful.
yeah. It's one of my fondest memories, and I think it was just funny that was the
The thing
one
she
thing she was
grabbed.
trying to pack up with her, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Totally.
yeah,
Oh wow.
yeah.
That's cool.
And it's a memory that just helps keep me clean because I
Mhm.
don't want to even let her down, even though she's passed on.
Mm.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love that idea that helps keep you clean.
Mhm.
We've been talking about that recently.
Yep.
Just the one thing of building a life you don't want to lose, but the things that really start to gain meaning and that momentum that builds.
Mhm.
That you're not so afraid of the past anymore when you're kind of proud of your past. And
Yeah.
you put
Yeah.
some good days together when you've done some good things with your life. It's cool the things that help keep you clean. I like that topic. I like that idea.
Yeah.
Anyway, because it's real. It's totally real. I feel it more and more every day.
Do you guys feel that you still have vulnerabilities in certain areas where you could be at risk of relapsing if certain events or certain things happen? Um, you know, I know that you guys probably have some backup plans, but yeah.
I'm trying to think about, we call them reservations kind of, and or like triggers. So I found in early recovery, like under my first 90 days, there was like physical triggers. Like I couldn't go past certain places that I had used at.
Mhm.
I couldn't hold cash in the form of $100 bills
Right.
because it would automatically trigger me. And I would immediately have to call my sponsor if I hoped to make it through the next hour or two, and she would distract me until I could get through.
Mhm.
But about after my 90 days, those kind of physical triggers went away, and I'm now capable of pretty much anything that used to be a physical trigger. But I do still have emotional triggers around trauma,
Yeah.
just around domestic violence, around aggressive parents, fighting in any household, like whether it's a parental fight with my mom, or even if it's fighting with Sam, sometimes that can be super triggering because I came from a long line of toxic relationships and dangerous relationships.
Mhm.
So it can be hard. I remember once my sponsee was in an altercation with an individual she had been seeing on and off, and he had relapsed and he was using, so he was very dangerous. And they got in an argument outside of a fast food establishment, and immediately it triggered me because I had been in a similar situation, and the outcome was I got assaulted. So I had to find a safe person, and luckily somebody I knew from the program, one of the programs, happened to be sitting at a booth right behind me while I'm standing there shaking. And that's the power of this program. It gives me the gift to be able to get through things like that with safe individuals. Like I was able, he walked me to the meeting across the street, and I was able to sit there and go through it. But now my reservations more look at like what would happen if Sam passed away. I'm not saying that would ever be a reason to use, but it would be, he's a main contributing factor to why my life is so good, and I don't want to lose it today.
Mhm.
So if I did lose it in some way that was out of my control, that would be difficult to handle. Losing a dog would be quite difficult for me. I know that when I did lose a dog, I was still in active addiction. So when I spiraled, it was like I was just spiraling more. Now that I'm clean, I don't know what would happen, and I don't like to think about it.
Yeah.
But I do know that if something should happen, I have the connections and the program behind me that would help me get through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Sam?
Yeah. I think yeah, like Charlie said, there's kind of these things that, if we kind of hypothesize, it's like, oh, I don't know how I'd handle that.
Hmm.
But, we have very measurable, built-in guardrails in our life.
Yeah.
We don't, I don't go to a bar by myself ever.
Hmm.
If I do, there are people there that at the very least know I'm in recovery.
Hmm.
That was even one that was a little bit, that's even feeling a little dangerous for me, right? Like I need
Yes.
to typically have someone that's also in the program with
Mm-hmm.
me at all times. So basically, yeah, like I wouldn't go to eat at dinner if Charlie was there, right? Like,
Right.
I need that safety. If someone's using drugs, like I'm not going anywhere near that. Like I know we've done some 12-step calls before, and there's a time and a place, I think, to be in. It's a dangerous environment, but I think that there's kind of a time and place to be able to step in if it's in service for others. But
Hmm.
like I say, we have very like very very measurable guardrails in our life where like there's just certain places, certain things we don't do, and we don't do alone, or if there's things that we have to do, we do it with people there. Or when I was on the rodeo circuit, that was the real challenge for me, and where I really
Hmm.
learned that. I was at just under a year clean
Yeah.
at that time, and it was an environment where I quickly realized, like, I just can't be there.
Yeah.
It's just
Lot of
it's
drinking.
foolish. It's extremely foolish. If I want to be clean, I have to be smart.
Yeah.
And if I what that means is being able to make those hard choices. Like I really wanted to continue to chase rodeos around, but not at the cost of my life.
Yeah.
Which is the reality of it.
Mhm.
And like getting to that place of surrender, as we mentioned at the beginning, like I didn't get to that surrender without the very real fear of death, the very
Yeah.
real wake up call of, okay, no, like this, you're not going to win this one kind
Yeah.
of thing. Like this is bigger than you, and you need help. So kind of carrying that in a way into our day to day, where it's like, yeah, whatever these high risk situations are, it's like, okay, well, we have to take what we learned.
Mhm.
Charlie and I both have been in pretty scary situations, and we don't want that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. I didn't even walk into a bar until I was about 3.5 years clean, and that was for employee Christmas party.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and normally I just stayed away from any other Christmas parties, but I went with my wife. She knew in recovery, and it was actually amazing because I was getting her drinks all night, and it was kind of funny. I laughed about 11 o'clock at night. And I was like, "Shit, I've been carrying alcohol to my wife all night. Didn't faze me whatsoever."
Mhm.
And I was like, "Oh shit, not that I'm going to keep walking into bars or anything, but I felt that was a bit of a milestone."
Yeah.
But I still had it was kind of funny at about 2.5 years clean. I thought I was Captain Recovery, right? Like nothing could touch me. My armor was so thick that I had sponsees. I was going to meetings. I was doing all the service work I could. I was untouchable. And then Christmas, I had a fight with some family members, and it took a matter of 20 minutes from Captain Recovery to I had a choice, either call my sponsor or go out and drink, because I was that close to go out and use it. I was quite surprised, but thank God I chose to go and call my sponsor, talk me off a cliff. And then about a week later at an online meeting, one of the guys goes, "Yeah, you're pretty vulnerable for those first 5 years." And I was like, "Well, thanks.
Great.
Now you tell me."
Yeah. And I think we feel that on and
Yeah.
off, that vulnerability in the first little while. Because although I think that Sam and I have our shit together, I'm reminded almost daily that we do not. We do not know everything. And,
No.
and I when I start saying I got this is when I start to find faults in my program, and I'm
Yeah.
not relying on a higher power or living what we've learned, or being grateful even.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what happened, and it happened so quickly.
Yeah, and just reminding what the program has given us,
Yeah.
and just having gratitude daily is such an important thing.
Well, and
Yeah.
that pause to be able to think properly, to call your sponsor, to call my
Mhm.
sponsor when I need to, and for Sam to call his. Like that's how this program works.
Yeah.
But I need that pause to be able to think about it, because if I don't take that pause, then I'm Captain Impulsivity over here.
Captain Impulsivity.
Yeah, I'm out making poor
Yeah.
decisions again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always laugh because Sam, you said like your dad had his gratitude graduation,
Yeah.
and I always laugh in the meetings because I always say how I'm secretly a little bit jealous because I've got to go to a couple of the Fresh Start gratitudes, and they're big events.
Mhm.
Where when my graduation was a handshake and said, "Hey, don't fuck up," and I'm like, "Okay, well, I guess I won't."
Yeah.
Right? That was it.
That's a great one.
Yeah. Yeah. I really love the treatment center I went to, but yeah, I definitely could say I'm a little jealous of the gratitudes.
Yeah. No, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
That just reminded me too of this one time I asked Charlie what her active addiction was like, and she kind of smiled and went, unpredictable. And
Never knew what was happening.
Yeah.
but yeah, that's what there's something that's just really cool about figuring it out one day at a time and not getting that too far ahead of ourselves. And I think Charlie's got a really good ability to be humble and modest, and yourself too, Greg, where it's handshake and good luck. Like at the end of the day, we're all just trying to figure this out one day at a time. And I have no idea what I'm doing most of the time, but the things I do understand. I have to fight for, because my understanding can fall so quickly, and my desire, my understanding can be replaced by immediate gratification, or just escape, or whatever it is, and just really realizing that baby steps, and I don't have to have it all figured out, but stick to the basics. Charlie always says stick to the basics, and it helps me. And I was really upset a couple of weeks ago, and she was like, "Have you done a gratitude list?" And I was like, "No, I have not done a gratitude list."
Just kicking the mud.
Yeah,
I'll go to the stupid
so
gratitude
mad.
list,
And then I
right?
did one and felt so much better, and then I was even more mad that she was right.
Yeah.
But it worked. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times people don't mention this, but laughter, I find, is one of the greatest helpers, the greatest medicine in recovery. Greg, you're really good at this, at being able to open with a joke and make everyone in the room laugh. And it reminds us, like, hey, we're alive and it's okay to laugh. Because when I came in, I thought everyone was laughing at me.
Yes.
I mean, they kind of were, but that's beside the point, right?
Oh, I know, because every time I have a birthday, have to make fun like the inappropriate jokes that I make.
Yeah.
But that's how I just cut into things. I'd rather point fun of something, have a good laugh. I know things in the room can get very serious at times, and we just need to focus on that, like the good with the bad, right? Because you're going to be laughing one moment, you're going to be crying the next, and but just being grateful for both.
I love that.
Yeah.
No. But thank you so much for coming and having this chat with me today.
Of course.
Really appreciate it. Yeah. Any last minute thoughts or comments that you might have?
We just want to say thank you for having us and for hosting us in your beautiful home.
Yeah.
We love Alora.
Yeah.
Shout out to Alora.
Yeah, she's she's like a little addict herself, right? Or she's a 9.5 years old, but acts like a 2-year-old on meth. Yeah. But we love her, so yeah.
Yeah, just thanks, Sam, for the technical support back
Sam.
there.
Yeah, Sam's behind her camera, so she's making sure we look pretty on camera, or pretty enough.
Yeah, pretty enough. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you like our comment, please keep watching and subscribe. And until next time, Nanu Nanu.